That right there is exactly how you bounce back from an embarrassing loss to the Pelicans. You bounce back with a win over Minnesota and another convincing win over the much lesser Indiana Pacers. We'll talk about that and more in this edition of Locked On 76ers.
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And we do thank you for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Part of the number one sports podcast network out there. My name is Marc Farzetta, veteran sports talker with you in the city of Philadelphia. Keith Pompey, another day off, a little under the weather. We'll get Keith back at some point this week. That much I guarantee you. Here's what we're going to get into today. We're going to talk about how, yes, they have the Miami Heat coming up, looking to avenge a loss to the Heat by 10 points all the way back in late November. We'll talk about that one. First time they're meeting up with the Heat since then. Maxey's big night tonight, and Joel Embiid being back in the lineup, of course, and looking pretty damn good, as a matter of fact, in this one. But as we like to start it off on post-game editions, instant reactions of Locked On 76ers, we're going to get into three big things. Start at number 3, the bench. For the second night in a row, the second game in a row, the 76ers bench shows up, this time to the tune of 41 points. Trendon Watford gets you 12 points in 15 minutes. Quentin Grimes gets you 15 minutes. He played a total 15 points. He played a total of 27 minutes tonight. Not the assist night that he had a couple of nights ago, but he had 2 tonight. But all in all, what you want from Quentin Grimes is a guy who can knock down shots. Wasn't very hot from beyond the arc tonight, but shot 6 of 11 overall for the Sixers. Kept the ball moving as well when he would bring it up, or he would run point essentially for the Sixers against the Pacers. Love what I saw from all aspects of the bench. And another guy that deserves a shout out is Adem Bona. Adem Bona is in games because he can block shots and he can be explosive around the basket. Tonight, I thought was a good example of him. He only had 1 block tonight, but it was a good example of him running the floor, being quick, and exploding to the basket. There was one instance that was rather humorous in this game, and it came in the third quarter. Tyrese Maxey's driving a lane in a fast break situation. Adem Bona running stride for stride. Maxey is close to a triple-double here. He's flirting with a triple-double at this point. He puts up a floater that I thought, apparently Adem Bona thought, apparently Kate Scott thought on the broadcast, and maybe even Al Abdelnaby, that it was going to be an oop to Bona. Now, the reason that is because you had Bona right there in a dunker spot, and Maxey is trying to get maybe to the triple-double. He's already got the double digits in points, obviously. I think he was at 27 at this point, but he's eyeing the triple-double with rebounds and assists, and you thought, let's get an easy assist here. You go for the triple-double there, Tyrese. Does he loft it up to Bona? No. Instead, he gets the little finger roll / floater. He was pretty close to the basket when he did it, and it went in. And then as they go rolling out the break, they catch Maxey with a little grin, little smirk, as if he didn't even know what his intentions were on that one. But I certainly think it was Tyrese Maxey trying to go to Adem Bona there, but maybe just put a little too much on it, and it ended up going in. Either way, Bona was in on the play. He had a couple other throwdowns from a similar type of situation earlier in the game. That's certainly not one that panned out for him in that particular instance. But other than that, he gave you 15 minutes tonight. And 15 minutes played, 2 fouls. There are not many moments this season, many instances, many examples this season where Adem Bona has played 15 minutes and had less than 3 fouls. There are not a whole lot of examples of those. And here we are. Adem Bona gives you 15 and just 2 fouls. That is certainly something you can highlight and is a sight for sore eyes as this center tries to progress. Now, number 2. So that's the number 1 is the bench. Number 3 is the bench. Number 2, as we work our way up, 3 big things. Number 2 is Joel Embiid. And don't get me wrong, number 1 is going to have something to do with Joel Embiid. But just having Joel Embiid back, his first game since February 7th, where he played 33 minutes and got you 33 points against the Phoenix Suns. Joel Embiid goes out there tonight, gives you 26 minutes, gets you 27 points in the meantime, runs the floor, and the best part about tonight, as far as just Joel Embiid's return, it's got nothing to do with number one. It's just Joel Embiid's return to the lineup for the first time in almost 3 weeks. Joel Embiid comes back to the lineup, and Joel Embiid not only plays in three quarters, but it looks like when you start the third quarter, and the Sixers were up by close of the third quarter, they're up 106. They're up 106 to 85. They're up 21 points. And my thought was at the close of that third quarter, and really the open of the fourth, Maxey's not in there, Embiid's not in there, and I'm thinking, okay, guys, just play well enough where you don't need Embiid to come back into the game and you don't need Tyrese Maxey to come back in the game. Just play well enough to give those guys a breather. Let those guys shut it down. Like, Joel Embiid just came back. He gave you a great effort for 3 quarters. You don't need him to do anything else. So 4 minutes left in the third quarter, Embiid checks out, and I'm hoping we don't see him the rest of the night. But sure enough, forget when it was, maybe the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter, and Embiid comes back into the game. And my first reaction was, no, let him continue to take a breather. Let him continue to have a break. And does that happen? No, Nick Nurse has him in the game. So my first thought was, Nick, what are you doing? And then I thought, okay, you're going to need him to run against Miami. You're going to need him really for the long haul this season. This isn't just about recovery of the shin injury. Okay. This isn't about managing the knee and the shin. This is about being in shape. This is about getting playing minutes. This is about getting in game shape. So Nick Nurse put him back out there. I think he played a total of 3 or 4 minutes, got a couple more points, and that was that. After it kind of dawned on me what was happening. Literally, all these thoughts were happening in like a 2-second span. So I went, okay, this is fine. This is fine. So I didn't hit freak out mode. Okay. I never got into the crazy mode, but then I got into crazy mode a little bit shortly before we did the show just now. And that was when they're trying to get Joel Embiid on the broadcast for a post-game interview. And you could see him just flat out refusing to go back and do an interview of any kind. I'll have to sit and wait. We'll all have to sit and wait what he has to say after the game at some point when eventually he gets interviewed. I'm sure he's going to talk at his locker. He is notorious for making people wait for him when he gets his treatment or whatever. He might not even talk tonight because they got to get back to Philadelphia. I don't know. But I'll tell you this much. I'd like to hear from him. I'd like to hear, yeah, my shin's great. Hey, my knee feels fantastic. All is good. Which brings me now to number one. And this does involve Joel Embiid, but it also involves Tyrese Maxey, and it also involves somebody you might not expect to hear on this instant reaction portion of Locked On 76ers. And you know what that is? You know who that is? You know what name that is? Trendon Watford. That's who it is. Because the Sixers are putting together an incredible run in the second quarter. They lose the first quarter by 8 points. Okay. Joel Embiid's back. Just everyone's learning how to play on the same team again. Okay, fine. I'm not going to freak out about an 8-point differential after one quarter against a 15-win Indiana Pacers team. Because when did the Sixers lose to 15-win teams? Oh, yeah, the start of this road trip. But anyway, not the point. So you go to that second quarter. And in this second quarter, Sixers go on this big fat run, and it was awesome. Okay? But then the best moment, and this goes along with what I've been talking about all season with Joel Embiid. And it's the explosiveness. And it's the aggressiveness, really, when it comes to how he has attacked the rim this year. So Trendon Watford on the defensive end gets the steal, gets the block and the steal. Gets it to Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey drives the lane on the offensive end, goes behind his back with the dribble, and then a little no-look dish. Oh, so beautiful. Little no-look dish. Reminds me of me at the YMCA. Except it would just go in the stands, whatever. But anyway, Tyrese Maxey gets a little no-look dish to Joel Embiid. Chef's kiss, thing of beauty. Joel rises up and throws it down. With great authority, Joel Embiid slams the hell out of this basketball with, I don't use the term often, but it certainly applies here, a real rim rocker of a slam dunk that was part of the 76ers Great run in that second quarter. They completely took control of the game. It was the difference in the game that second quarter. 45-27, they ended up winning that third quarter. And at the 1:18 mark, in case you missed it, want to go back on your DVRs or what have you, Joel Embiid went up there and threw that basketball down. And it helped put a big old exclamation point on that second quarter, and the 76ers completely taking control. They would go into halftime up 10, 75-65, thanks in large part to, well, Tyrese Maxey we'll get to, but also Joel Embiid's performance in that second quarter as well. So right there, I got the bench going up for 41 points for you tonight. Joel Embiid just overall looking good, especially with the way he exploded to the rim on that particular dunk I just laid out. And, of course, that particular play as it all played out from Watford to Maxey to Embiid. One more time, chef's kiss. We'll talk a little bit more about Tyrese Maxey coming up and a little bit more, as you would expect, about Joel Embiid on this edition of Locked On 76ers. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Again, Keith off tonight. We'll get him back later this week. Hopefully tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So we'll talk more Sixers, especially when it comes to Maxey's night when we return. And right now it's time to tell you about Indeed. And I hope you guys are taking advantage of Indeed and all Indeed has to offer right now. Workplace chaos, for instance, that's never a good time. Deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still open. What is happening? When the pressure's on, you need to make the right hire. This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Indeed sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for with skills, experience, location as well. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post, but with Indeed sponsored jobs, it finds them quite easy. Here's a stat. Since I just started talking to you in the midst of this ad, Indeed sponsored jobs has already helped people hire 27 people on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who actually check the boxes you need with Indeed sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching, more time actually interviewing candidates who check all those boxes for you. Less stress, less time, more results. That's called efficiency, people. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, Indeed sponsored jobs is right there for you. Listeners of this show, by the way, get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Do it right now. Support our show, by the way, by telling them that you heard about it on Locked On 76ers. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs, and especially mention Locked On 76ers. And now it's time to tell you about the Everydayer Club. Check out LockedOn76ers.supercast.com. That's LockedOn76ers.supercast.com and sign up to be a member of the Everydayer Club with Locked On Sports. You get ad-free episodes of Locked On 76ers as well as members-only Discord access. So join at LockedOn76ers.supercast.com to be part of the Everydayer Club. It's really hard not to love what you're seeing from Tyrese Maxey, and it really goes to show over the last couple of quarters, last couple of third quarters with the 76ers as to what Tyrese Maxey has done for this team. The big deal I made about Tyrese Maxey following the win over the Minnesota Timberwolves was the fact that Tyrese Maxey scored half the team's points in that third quarter against the Timberwolves. Well, Maxey again went on to have 13 points as part of an 18-4 run that the Sixers went on in that third quarter and ended up finishing the game tonight with another 30-point performance, this time 32 points on 10 of 22, only 2 of 8 from beyond the arc, but this time was able to shoot 10 free throws, and of those 10 free throws, he only made 10 of them. Yeah, he was perfect from the line. And while we go on with the numbers, how about 9 rebounds and 8 assists for Tyrese Maxey as he helped the 76ers throughout the entire night, but also in the third quarter. I can't believe I'm about to say this. The 76ers have now won back-to-back third quarters. It might actually be 3. I think the only quarter they won against the Pelicans was the third quarter, as a matter of fact. But anyway, another very good and very well-controlled third quarter by the Sixers as they outscore the Pacers 31-10, and Tyrese Maxey helped lead the team in that effort. in that third quarter. One of the big things Keith and I have talked about since we started doing the show together, which was about the middle of the summer, was just before the draft. We had talked about this next step we wanted to see from Tyrese Maxey. And the next step we wanted to see with Tyrese Maxey was court vision. We knew he was going to be bringing the ball up more. We knew he was going to be more of the point guard as well as the combo guard as well as the shooting guard, but the point guard aspect of it, and then do not mix up what I'm saying. I'm not calling him a point guard, but I'm talking about a point guard aspect of his game when it came to facilitating, if you want to use that word, was his court vision, was seeing who's open. Even listening to Tyrese Maxey during media day, give his press conference, where he was joking about how Joel Embiid, he would complain earlier in his career to Joel Embiid, like, dude, I'm open, man. I'm open. And he's like, Joe, you're 7 foot, whatever, man. You can't see me. Come on. And then Maxey would get double teamed, and he's a little bit shorter, as I'm sure you know. He wouldn't be able to find Joel Embiid. He wouldn't be able to see anybody. And he would tell Joel Embiid, I now know what you mean by you can't find me, because if you can't find me, you know I can't find you. So it was a matter of just improving that court vision. And it might also be him adapting more to guys double teaming him, happening a little bit less with Joel Embiid, especially on the floor where you don't see it as much. So that opened up lanes for him. Also, another scorer certainly helps with an uptick of assists from Tyrese Maxey. But all in all, just being able to find his teammates as well as have guys, not just in Joel Embiid that are obviously going to hit shots for you, but also find guys like Quentin Grimes who are going to knock down those shots. Have a guy like Kelly Oubre knock down a couple of threes tonight. Have VJ Edgecombe shoot 50% from beyond the arc, 2 of 4 tonight in this game. That, of course, is going to help you with your assist numbers. But if you're not finding them, if you're not even giving them those opportunities, then guess what? You're not going to get those points. So Tyrese Maxey being able to find his teammates, especially Joel Embiid, especially VJ Edgecombe, being able to get on the same page with those guys and also see them on the floor in the event that he is getting double teamed, finding his way out of it and finding the open man, that is something that he has been able to do very well. Much more than I expected to see him this season. Now, if you watch the instant reaction show after the Timberwolves game, one of the things I loved about him in the third quarter was that he got selfish at the right time. I wasn't looking for Kelly Oubre to go crazy in that game and go off. I wasn't looking for VJ Edgecombe to go off and be crazy awesome in that game. They played well, but Maxey's the one that in the third quarter said, no, not today. This isn't happening today. There's no third quarter collapse here. We're not losing control of this game in the third quarter. He got the right amount of selfish at the exact right time. This game tonight, when he needed to give it up, when he needed to find a teammate, when there was a better option than him letting one rip, he just passed it off to him. And he played very heads up, very smart, very crisp basketball tonight from Tyrese Maxey. And you look at that performance tonight, and one of the things was 2 turnovers. 2 turnovers tonight for Tyrese Maxey. He played 34 minutes. He had 8 assists. 2 turnovers. That's pretty damn good. That's pretty damn good. So absolutely loved what I saw from Tyrese Maxey tonight. Look, the headline is Joel Embiid came back. Joel Embiid played well. But for me, the number one thing is that Maxey played at the level that he played at tonight. Because one of the things that I hate hearing, and look, it's the Pacers, everyone knows who they played tonight, but I know there's people that'll think, it's only the Pacers. Yeah, you're right. Everyone can look at the schedule. So we all understand that. But when it comes to Tyrese Maxey's performance overall tonight, how many times have we seen performances from the Sixers where they should go out there and beat up on a team, and they don't? They play down to that opponent, or the excuse gets put in there, well, it was Joel Embiid's first game back. They had played, the All-Star break happened in the midst of this, so they haven't played together, and Maxey had played in the All-Star game, so he's playing with other talent, and then he comes back, he's playing without Joel Embiid again, so he's got to get used to this whole other, all these excuses get thrown out there about, why they didn't play so well. And I'm done with excuses when it comes to the Sixers. So some other people would have been waiting in the wings for, they hadn't played together in a while, and it's tough for Maxey to go back and forth. No. Go out there and do your job. Go out there and win basketball games. And if you can't figure it out in the first quarter, you want to lose the first quarter? All right, fine. That's what happened tonight. But figure it out and win the game, especially if you're playing against a Pascal Siakam-less, Tyrese Halliburton-less, if people still need to hear that, Indiana Pacers. And that's exactly what Tyrese Maxey and the 76ers did tonight. And Maxey certainly led the way. By the way, I don't even know if I mentioned it yet. Did I mention Joel Embiid's 27? I know I said he did well. Yeah, I mentioned 27. 27 points in 26 minutes. One of the first things I said. I did mention it. But yeah, all in all, Maxey with a huge night for the Sixers. A rebound shy, 2 assists shy of a triple-double for Tyrese Maxey on a 32-point night. Also worth mentioning, 4th time this season, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, all scored at least 20 points. So not too shabby right there. All right. Coming up, we'll take a look ahead. Also, some other unsung heroes on this squad tonight. We'll talk about all that and more on this edition of Locked On 76ers. Back after this. And right now, it's time to tell you about FanDuel. Hey, want to go to the NBA Finals? You ever want to go to the NBA Finals? FanDuel can help you accomplish this goal with the NBA sweepstakes on FanDuel. Here's how it works. Use your first off, download the FanDuel app. Go to FanDuel.com. Then use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a chance to win an NBA Finals trip for 2. That's right. Flights, tickets, the whole experience, courtesy of FanDuel. If you're already looking at the board, maybe it's coming a little bit more clear who you think could actually make the NBA Finals, who you think can make it out of the East or the West. So make sure you check it out. Love futures, by the way, this time of year. Pictures becoming a little bit more clear. And now, not only can you pick cash, but it could also send you to the NBA Finals. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals for 2. Play your game at FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Go to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. Looking ahead for your 10-9-8 76ers, taking on the Miami Heat at home Thursday night, 7 o'clock start time. The last time the Sixers played the Heat, who at this given moment are 31-27 on the season, as we do this show live following the Sixers victory, hence instant reaction show. The Miami Heat, drat. The Miami Heat are now up on the Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee with 5:30 to play in the 4th quarter as we tape this episode live. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks 35-26. They were losing. The Heat were losing when I started this show, and now they're winning. But they were losing, and then in the 3rd quarter, they outscored the Bucks by 9 points. Not cool. Not cool. Don't like that. Anyway, so the Sixers and Heat take on each other. It's Thursday night, 7 o'clock, South Philadelphia. Sixers return after going 2-1 on this 3-game road trip. Sixers and Heat faced off against each other at the end of November 23rd, I believe it was. And the Heat won that game 127-117. Joel Embiid did not play in that game. Andre Drummond started for the Sixers and had 24 points, but Adebayo and Ware in that game combined for 31 rebounds. That's fun. Now, yes, Drummond had 24. Nobody else looked too impressive, unfortunately, on the glass. And as we know, 2 things equal Sixers losses. Well, 3 if you want to include an overall 3rd quarter collapse, but this plays into the 3rd quarter collapse. Second chance points, offensive rebounds. That's a big don't do that if you want to win games, Sixers. Also, turnovers, the obvious of the obvious, but still worth reiterating. Get on the offensive glass, get boards. Joel Embiid being back will certainly help with all that. And you could even look at a game like tonight, for instance, when it comes to Joel Embiid. 6 rebounds, not ideal, but 6 rebounds, 26 minutes. Okay, all right. Still would want a little bit more from Joe. But the bigger number to me, it's similar to Tyrese Maxey and just getting the assist numbers back up. When I look at Joel Embiid coming up with 5 assists tonight, that is something that it warms my heart. I don't mean to fake cry there. Literally, I legit had a real cough coming. But Joel Embiid coming up with the assists is also a thing of beauty. So you'd love to see that as well. Sixers back at it Thursday night, 7 o'clock, Miami Heat. Keep the good vibes going for your 76ers tonight. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. My name is Marc Farzetta. Keith Pompey will be with me again a little bit later in this week. Again, a little under the weather, so we'll talk to Keith. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to do a show at some point of Locked On 76ers. So in the meantime, like and subscribe to Locked On 76ers. And, of course, once again, sign up to be a part of the Everydayer Club. Just go to lockedon76ers.supercast.com and make sure you guys sign up to be a member of the Everydayer Club. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.